Hello, good afternoon, good evening, everyone who all are joining in and who may join later in the session today. And I hope, before I proceed, that I hope that you all are doing good, happy, sound, and healthy. This is your host, Himanshi Kaushik, and I know that you must be wondering why we have gathered here. So you must have heard this word, this term that is called data. This is hot topic, data science. Everyone is talking about this thing. So same, we also have organized a webinar for you on the same, that is navigating the data science. And okay, just a moment, very sorry. Yeah, and for this we have Mr. Vishad Dubey here, who will be actually telling you all about the data science and what technologies, recent advances are there, and in context with the TransOrg analytics here. So with this, sir, I welcome you in the webinar, and I also request you to kindly take over the screen and please carry on with the session, and looking forward for an amazing session.
Thank you, Himanshi. Thank you, LPU, for this warm invite and an opportunity to meet with the team members and the attendees. So as discussed, we'll be taking next half an hour or so, at least, discussing about what data science is about and what are the opportunities that are there. And essentially, since we have an official partnership with LPU, what all can be done. And later on, once we are done with the official discussion, we can take the question as and when. All right. So let me set the brief context of the presentation. I hope my screen is visible, Himanshi.
Yes, sir, it is completely.
Okay. So just a brief introduction of myself. I've been in industry, specifically data related to data. Data science is actually a new term, but we've all our life being a mechanical engineer graduate from DC, which is currently DTU, and an MBA from IIM Kozhikode. I specifically have dealt in industries or projects that related to data. Data science is a kind of new word or a new phrase that has come into the approach that's there in finding pattern based on data. So my experience has primarily been in different domains, in investment banking, in retail, in hospitality, in the real estate. And basically, as an organization, as of today, TransOrg works with different clients to help them solve their business problems. So me personally, I've chosen more of a consulting route rather than a product development route. All right, let's move ahead. So setting the context for the discussion that will follow, we'll talk briefly about what is data science, specifically some of the problems that are there that we generally face in the real world, using where we solve the problem using data science. Why should you specifically pick a career in data science? What are the trends, job roles, and different expectations, remunerations that are there? And how could you prepare idealistically, at least or theoretically, for a career in data science? So if you see, data science per se is a multidisciplinary practice. It involves having a brief understanding, if not an in-depth understanding of every field, but of to an extent of math, statistics, computing. Visualization is a form of presenting your output and analysis. You need to have a hacker mindset. When we say hacker mindset, we don't mean unethical hacking. We mean you are able to hack the problem using your codes or statistical knowledge. You need to have certain level of domain expertise, which of course you build as you grow up or walk down the path of a particular industry. Data engineering, because once you start working on the data, you need to have a very robust data engineering architecture in place so that you have easy and meaningful access to data end to end. Now, amalgamation of this in one way or the other leads to the use of data science, which in one line is the practice wherein computer or a program or a model learns about pattern in data without specifically being coded for it. So when we say that without specifically being coded for it, that is the part that alludes to learning. So you present a particular set of data with a targeted output, or in some cases, like it is known as unsupervised learning, just the set of data, and the machine itself learns what is the explicit or implicit pattern that is present within the data set. So why has data science come into vogue? You would have heard of the phrase, and like Himanshi also mentioned, that data is the new oil, data is the hot topic. And over the years, and it's very surprising or exciting to know, it's only in the last 3-4 years that we have generated almost 90% of the data that we interact with or use today. And how's that data grown? all the data, it is growing exponentially because every device or every action that is taken at a system level leads to generation of data at one point or other. So let's say if we are sitting here and this video interaction or the video conferencing that we are having to an extent could be used as a video analytics use case, or this particular screen share can be used for doing analytics later, just to analyze what was, let's say, the expression of the speaker, what was the tone, what was the pace. I can use it for doing an analytics and then use generative AI, which you would have heard about recently, to answer or to have a recommendation what is the better way of presenting. So let me go back to this slide. What are the important trends which are there in the field of data science? So essentially, we see there are almost more than almost about 15 to 20 data trends, but we will talk about few of the data trends which are there in different domains. So if you look at across industries, from the virtue of this slide, you can use data science in one form or the other. So I'll pick few of the use cases. Social media analytics, you would have seen in, especially in Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, you have a section showing us these are the people you may know or you may want to befriend. So, or these are the particular set of articles you might be interested in. So that happens basically when an algorithm at the back end is working day in, day out on the kind of data you generate by interacting with different posts. So let's say you are interacting with a set of friends, or you are becoming friends with someone on a daily basis within your own campus. So next morning, most probably you would find a recommendation from some other person in your same campus. E-commerce analytics, again, if you have visited a lot of e-commerce sites like, let's say, Amazon, Flipkart, whatever are there, you would see recommendation basis your purchase history, or if you are a new customer, basis purchase history of your lookalike customers that most probably you would be interested in this. The third use case, which is in the field of mobility analytics, is very prominently used by all these commercial vehicles, all these B2C vehicles like Ola, Uber, that wherein they make even Google Maps is the starting point 90% of the time, where they suggest the best route, and that also involves certain level of analytics. So is the case in banking, where all the messages that we get, or else we see that this transaction that you are about to do on a GPay most probably is a fraud, could potentially lead to a harm, is again an outcome of a base analytics, advanced analytics happening at the back end. In the field of media, entertainment, music, in Spotify, in any of the tools you would see, you will have recommendation based on the kind of music that you listen, or the kind of music that is being listened by the customers who are similar to you. Healthcare, it is all fast catching up. You have video analytics, you have image analytics, wherein the practitioners, the doctors and consultants are making use of the data points generated by the customers to make an informed decision on what kind of prevailing disease or what kind of ailment is the patient suffering from. Home, smart home, the best example that I always give is of Tony Stark's home from Marvel series in Avenger. The whole house has been replenished, or rather modernized, using cutting edge smart technologies like video analytics, audio analytics, and AI. Again, driverless car, you would have seen Tesla, even Uber is coming out, wherein there are in-cabin info system, in-cabin technologies, which enable a driver not to touch the steering wheel, and the commute happens. So these are the different fields that we thought where we can directly, as a consumer, all of us would agree that there is a very deep integrated use of data science and machine learning. So these are essentially the typical stages that are there in a life journey of a proper, or let's say an advanced data analytics use case. So what starts primarily is a descriptive analytics, where you have a business problem or you have a data set or a case study. So you use the data to describe the whole ecosystem or world of that particular problem. Let's say if we are trying to build a model, and most probably who will be winning a particular election of a particular constituency. So descriptive analytics to an extent might show that where are the voters present, where are the representative of that particular set of parties are present. Then comes in the diagnostic analytics, where you carry out any kind of suspicious activity or anomaly behavior that emerges out of a particular data set. And using all combination of this and taking support from different algorithm, you can do a predictive analytics that most probably this is the person who's going to win, or this is the constituency where the result would be this and this. Prescriptive analysis is one you have done all kind of analytics and you have made your prediction. Then you chart out, just like a consultant, different viable options that are there in front of you as a decision maker, and what are the possible outcome of going on different decision strategies. So these are for a few of the key facts that we have pulled from the industry, have put in together. So we usually take US as a benchmark for data science studies and speeches, because fortunately or unfortunately, India is fast catching up, but still the US across the globe is a benchmark for data consumption. So by 2026, there would be like 11.5 million jobs, if not more. I mean, even considering the recession, there are a lot of industries which have taken a hit, but somehow data analytics still survive. So you have different positions. Even in India, the picture is very rosy, and thankfully India is not going any kind of industrial or economical recession. So the job positions or the titles or the roles are very rampant. So most of the data science positions are currently available to be filled in India, because like I said in the first or the beginning of the presentation, a good data scientist is one who has a brief overview of different streams like maths, visualization, coding, statistics. So that's why it's more than the job availability. It's about constant skill upgradation, which makes a particular individual fit enough or good enough to take up a full-fledged data scientist role. Data, it's growing exponentially. We have seen, be it India, be it any country. So data is growing exponentially. So it is a field that's going to stay for long, until and unless, I'm sure we reach, I mean, a personal opinion, we reach a point of singularity where machine enabled by AI and human are working together to solve business problems or even personal specific problems. And if you compare, the most interesting aspect of it being the remuneration or the salary, it is always, I mean, apple to apple comparison for a similar person from a similar pedigree, similar background, a data scientist tends to get, if not 2x, comfortably 1.5x as compared to a similar candidate from a similar job profile or education background. So what are the job roles related and the related skill set in the field of data science? See, where at the very entry level, there is something known as data analyst, where the analyst is required to collect the data, interpret the data, and try to identify the trends and patterns of the data using statistical techniques. Now, data visualization is also a job, because end of the day, most of the time, if we are not into the product related organization, most of the time we are helping the client solve a particular problem. So the end output mostly is a visualization dashboard, which helps the client in making proper decision. Skills, like it's mentioned, statistics plays a very critical role in making your hypothesis and deciding on different decision making. Visualization, there are many tools right now hot in the market, which can be taken by the individuals and used to present the data, probabilities, statistics. Another aspect of the data science ecosystem, which unfortunately a lot of people think is different from data science, but we believe is to an extent overlapping with the skill set of a data scientist, is being a data engineer. So a data engineer is someone, just like the word in engineer make us understand, is to facilitate the pipelines or connectivity between different data sources on a given platform, so that the downstream typical data scientists who are running the model are able to consume that data points and are able to develop business models. So again, once you have built the business related data science model, a data engineer again come into picture to deploy those models and works along with the data scientist to analyze or complete the feedback loop to understand if the model is working as per expectations, or is there any change required in the incoming data set or in between deployment of the algorithm. Now, who's a machine learning engineer? So that's where a step is taken in terms of upskilling. So a machine learning engineer is typically responsible for end-to-end solution development and deployment in the field of data science or machine learning. So here, a little bit of a complex or a deep understanding of computing system, data science, data algorithm, machine learning, big data becomes relevant. So it's not, so as to speak, it's not a very early stage role. It's something that you pick up over your journey of becoming a full-fledged data scientist. And the data scientist, typical data scientist role, therein comes in the idea of working outside in rather than inside out. So a data scientist has to understand the end goal to use data science as a tool to solve the business problem, like I said. So you have to interact, lock with the stakeholders, understand their problem, understand the whole data collection process, understand how do you make sense out of that data, and then use all the technical skill set like SPSS, SAS, machine learning, SQL. It depends. It varies. There are a lot many tools. There are a lot many algorithms to take care of, and then you finally develop the models, deploy it, and present to the end client. So coming to the remuneration or the salary that are typically offered from organization in this field. So depending on the a lot depends on this field about experience, because a lot of organization give value to the experience that an individual have. It's true for any field, be it consultancy, be it becoming a doctor or lawyer. The more experience you have, you would be paid higher. But again, in terms of apple to apple comparison, the curve or the growth curve in terms of salary is quite quick and steeper in the field of data science. So by the time you are in the range of 5 to 7 years of experience, you most probably in today's world in India would be earning somewhere close to 30 lakhs per annum. Data engineers, again, it's a very comparable field and quite in demand. And actually, personally, I think this would pick up a lot faster going forward because a lot of things are getting automated. So it always pays to have certain level of expertise of becoming a data engineer. Data analyst, I said, it's mostly an entry level role, but even at that level, people are paid handsomely. The numbers are there on the screen for you to analyze. So this is something that we have put up because when we were going through that phase of COVID and a lot of businesses were going down or at least stepping back in terms of expansion or their operations, it was actually people started moving more closer towards which would be called as a radio silence period in terms of operations for a lot of organizations. They started investing heavily into data, so that, see, what happens in a typical operation is that people are at a middle management and higher management level so involved in the operations that they are not able to find time in deploying full-fledged machine learning based systems. So COVID, at least with respect to data science, was a blessing in disguise that people started moving towards use of data or enabling systems which can use data and help them in better decision making. So if you look at any field, the importance of data tremendously increased post-COVID era because the ROI, people become more ROI centric, that if you have data, if you are investing this much, we now need to make more of the same level of investment that they were doing pre-COVID times. So even though a lot of organizations are still recovering completely from the setback that we had during the COVID times, but opportunities are there. A lot of opportunities are there in both in different fields, but that related to data. So you can still become like all the fields that we have talked about, using data, become a data analyst, become a data visualization champion. You can use NLP, though that is related to text analytics, and anomaly detection is something that is a lot used by BFSI, meaning to say banking and financial industry. So what are the different global problems that are solved by analytics in the post-COVID era? So these, we all knew that there was a rampant cash and liquidity crisis. So how data science or data analytics help different domains or different industry is, like I said, increase the ROI, increase the utilization potential of the given limited resources. In the sales pipeline, if you look in a typical sales pipeline, initially the turnaround for different projects, let's say talk about retail, the turnaround for different products or different B2C products used to be in months. Now using advanced AI, advanced machine learning, few of our clients are able to turn around for the shelf life for the products which have a shorter shelf life, they are able to stock their inventory well, create a shorter sales pipeline, and better manage the ROI. Supply chains, there are various supply chain players who are using advanced analytics to you make the better use of their fleet of supply vehicles, track their supply vehicles, optimize their entry exit within a particular state or within a particular geography so that they can serve their end customer well. Another use case is using traditional business model. So like I said, so that COVID period helped, or in a blessing in a disguise kind of way, help different industries or decision makers to go back and visit their traditional business operation mechanism and see how can they involve data science or how can they incorporate advanced technology to disrupt or to have a better ROI in the near coming future. And cost and operation optimization, this is again being used by across verticals, across domains, where they are trying to bring in the better ROI on the limited resources that they have at their end. So coming back to, if this interests you, that okay, finally that one person you decide that okay, data science is the industry or the field that I have to be in, what is the path or what is the career route you should take to eventually become, let's say in 3, 4, 5 years of time, a full-fledged data scientist? So one thing for sure is to have a professional certification, because nothing sells better than a success. And what would be the success of a fresh graduate is to have a success in a certified course. From there, you can decide on a particular industry. So let's say more than the product, you decide to be a part of a consulting institution or an industry organization like TransOrg. So what will help is to understand or try to find out which is the industry that excites you the most. Is it media? Is it retail? Is it hospitality? Is it aviation? It could be anything. Is it banking? And then you can follow a lot of articles and blogs that get published with in relation to that particular industry and the use of data science in that industry. Now, LinkedIn being a professional network, and just like LPO is conducting these webinars with different industry experts, you can liaison with these, follow their work, follow their blogs, work with them, reach out to them, and work along with them to make an understanding of their particular domain. But the last and the most important point is nothing beats hands-on practice. So you should chart out the plan for 1 year, 2 year, and practice as many case studies, algorithms on data sets on sites like Kaggle. There are a lot of sites where you will get the data sets and competition. Take part in those competitions in the free time and practice as much as you can. So there are we've jotted down few of the factors that we should consider before we invest, or you as an individual should invest in the field of data science. So there are two aspects to it. I understand most of us, I mean, me included, at times are at sea. What should I do next to upskill myself or to in this field? So there are two ways to it. One is the difficult way, wherein we are trying to do everything by ourselves and there's no structured approach in achieving the end goal. And another is we can reach out, or we can seek a particular course or a particular ecosystem, which to an extent handholds you to achieving your data science objectives, and also create a very specific customized path for you. So if you look, if you have a particular educational background which is not related to data science, you might find it very overwhelming to switch to data science as a field. So there again, just like I mentioned a few minutes back, what will help is to get certified through a professional course and have a hands-on experience on working on these problems day in and day out. Ashni, I think given the time, I think that ended a little early, but though that is what I had today. So if there are any questions, I should be more than happy to take them.
Yeah, thank you, sir, and no issues with that. Okay, yeah, thank you so much, sir, first of all, for the presentation. And yes, we have a question from Sukrit Kaur. So it says, what is the main difference the course of BTech CSC, data science and data engineering honors, or BTech CSC with data science and machine learning with upgrade? Okay, so basically they just want to know the difference between BTech CSC with data science and data engineering versus BTech CSC with data science and machine learning.
All right. Anju, would you want to answer
Yeah,
that or
of
should I
course.
go ahead?
Yeah,
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 please.
of course. Let me take that up. Himanshi, sorry. Okay, let me switch on my video too. I'm so sorry. Okay, the one entire with TransOrg Analytics, which is specialization in data science and data engineering. This is an honors program, right? Wherein you will be getting a seed money from LPU, and there are a lot of other benefits, which includes your international exchange program, international faculty visiting the campus, and student exchange program, and a lot of other benefits which has for this honors program. Whereas the other one, which is with upgrad, that's not an honors program. In comparison to the one which is with TransOrg, you'll get a little less benefits. Otherwise, if I speak about the course, there is of course a difference in the course structure also, the program structure also, wherein we are covering the specialized subjects related to data science, which includes your deep learning and advanced topics, predictive analytics, and all of that stuff. So we are also including the subjects related to data engineering. All right. Whereas in the other one, the upgrad one, you will not learn about the data engineering courses. I strongly feel Vishad has also explained about the same, that data engineering definitely is in high demand. Data science and data engineering, both the courses, both the fields are in higher demand. The roles for that are in higher demand. So majorly these are a couple of differences there in both the courses.
Thank you, ma'am. And ma'am, there's an extended question from Jan Mohammed. So basically, he's confused as he must have heard that AI and ML do not have future. So he just wants to know like what AI and ML is and what is the future, and I mean, what should he choose? Please guide him.
In fact, I'm telling you, that is the future. That's where you will eventually converge. So subconsciously or unknowingly, anything that we are doing, anything we are using AI and ML, all the organizations that are there on earth are eventually converging towards AI and ML. Now, I think the second part of the question was, what is the difference between AI and ML? Is it?
So basically, they just want to know, like, is the future, and so what should he choose? So that is the main thing.
So machine learning and AI, it's for sure gonna be the, I think, see, any domain, even if you want to become a doctor, you would eventually use AI and ML as an enabler. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I am a very skilled or very highly trained lawyer, all right? One of the prominent cases would require me to do a reference of 10 years of case history or 30 years of case history. Now, where would AI come into picture? Unfortunately, would be better than an individual or an apprentice to give a direct reference, right? So any field you choose or any field you would go would in 5 years, 10 years would be relying majorly on AI and ML. But yes, for that AI and ML to work proficiently or very efficiently, you need to have a certain level of domain expertise. So you might decide on the field, you might decide on the domain, but having the knowledge of AI ML will always make you better professional.
Right. Thank you, sir. Anju ma'am, do you want to add anything to it?
Yes, of course. And we should also showed one slide wherein he discussed about the use cases in various fields, various domains. So whether you take healthcare as a field, whether you talk about OTT, e-commerce, or the traditional domains, traditional industries, banking, financial services, CPG, retail, you talk about any industry, and AI and ML is there for sure. So the ones who are adopting and adapting AI and ML will definitely will grow up, and the others will perish for sure.
And there's this question that always comes up with AI and ML. There's full stack development that already, I mean, that also do come up from the registrants and the participants. So please tell them about the full stack development as well, and what are the difference basically between AI ML and full stack development.
All right. So see, full stack development is a term that is used for a life cycle of a product or a specialist field. So let's say if you are a full stack AI ML developer, so therein you would have knowledge of all the facets that we have mentioned in one of the slides, that you are a data visualizer, So you are able to handle the front end development. You are able to develop the product. You are able to work as a data engineer. You have the knowledge of the computation. So unfortunately, I think it will take years to become a full stack developer, even as a product developer. Let's say I want to build the next Spotify. So you take care of the backend databases, you take care of the GUI. But now, what do you mean by specifically in full stack ML AI developer, wherein you have knowledge of data architecture, data engineering, data science, ML, AI deployment, and data visualizer. So it is possible. It is within the bounds of human capacity, but it will take time. So how you start is like you have to identify individually where does my passion lie, and then basically take step-by-step growth, baby steps towards different fields.
And you can just come in here and join the course, and our experts will be here to guide you through the journey, and hence you can decide whichever field you want to go and grow. So okay, so we got a question. What is the average package of big data analytics? I mean, in data analytics, what do they get? The average package, salary package.
So if you are a full stack developer, if you are very skilled, I think you will get a lot. I mean, as much as let's say IT Bombay computer engineer.
So that is that is quite okay. So John says thank you, and with this I would want to ask anyone, you have any query, then you can just write the questions or queries in the chat box or Q&A box, and if not, then I would be just requesting Vishal sir and Anju sir, sorry Anju ma'am, I'm very sorry, to wrap this webinar, if you guys do not want to add anything to it.
I think to one of the questions that you, Himanshi, said, I also had the good fortune of working with Anju and to have a look at the course curriculum. So that essentially covers almost all aspects from a very nascent stage to an advanced stage of different fields. So you correctly mentioned that don't overthink, don't get overwhelmed by the idea that you will eventually lag in the race. Enjoy your process of learning and find your sweet spot, because see, any field can become taxing. You just have to have the passion of survival. So you have to have that passion, find your sweet spot and stay with it. At least in field of AI and ML, we are sure that you will do well.
Right.
Very well said, Vishal.
And with the guidance of our experts, of course, I mean, you're gonna do very well in the field. And sir, I think we're done with the questions. So with this, yeah, I am taking your permission to wrap this webinar here.
Thanks, Himanshi. Thanks for hosting us.
And of course, just one moment, Himanshi. Yeah. So anybody, if all of the attendees, if any one of you has any questions or concerns regarding the program, you can always reach out to me. My email ID is Anju, that's ANJU @transorg.com. TRANSORG. I can just type it here. Can I, Himanshi?
Yes, ma'am. Please do that.
Okay. So I'm typing my email ID here in the chat box. And so if you have any questions which is still unanswered, you can reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to take it up.
Okay, I'm just writing it for all the participants. So yeah, they've got your email ID. So as ma'am said, that you can just post the queries. You can write all your queries to the ma'am and she will be happy answering all of them. And with this, ma'am, thank you so much for joining in. Thank you, sir, for joining in.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And thank you so much to all the participants also for joining in and for giving your questions. So with this, I take your leave and stay happy, stay safe, and meet you soon in the next webinar. Thank you.